What's going on everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we'll be going over how to kill champions in Destiny 2. Now champions are mini boss type enemies that pop up in activities like hero difficulty and higher nightfalls, legend and master lost sectors, master raids, and seasonal activities. Champions on lower difficulties are pretty simple to deal with, but in more challenging areas you're going to want to know how to properly stun and kill them to avoid long engagements or unnecessary deaths. As always, if you learn anything or you enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like button, and if you're not already, hit subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss out on our new content. So the first thing you need to know are about the champion mods, and these are found on the seasonal artifact, which we cover in detail each season when we get a new one with a new set of mods. The link will be in the description for that video if you need it, and there'll also be links for other videos like if you need to understand how to use mods in Destiny 2. In the first and fourth columns of the seasonal artifact, we get our champion mods, which we can unlock and then slot into our gauntlets, giving us the ability to stun a specific type of champion with a specific type of weapon. There are also certain weapons and exotic armor that allows you to stun champions, but we'll go over that at the end of the video. I also want to quickly throw in for anyone who might have this question later, on your legendary weapons that you're using to damage these champions, you want to make sure that you equip the major spec mod to deal bonus damage. Also, the Vorpal weapon perk does apply to champions even though they're not technically bosses as stated on that perk. So I hope that clears that up for you. Now, there are three types of champions in Destiny 2. The Unstoppable Champion, the Barrier Champion, and the Overload Champion. Each of these also have unique characteristics across the different enemy races. Unstoppable champions will charge at you non-stop if they get a line of sight on you, and then repeatedly deal range damage as they approach you. If they get close enough, they can also one-shot melee kill you, so you want to make sure that you keep your distance and avoid line of sight until you're ready to engage. Unstoppable champions can be stunned by equipping the Unstoppable Champion mod and using the corresponding weapon type. In Season of the Lost, that's going to be pulse rifles, sidearms, linear fusions, or fusion rifles. Remember, you must unlock the specific mod to use the weapon type that you want. There isn't one mod that's going to cover all weapon types that are available. It's also important to note here that each champion mod functions differently to activate the ability. You can always read the mod's description as a reminder if you ever forget. When using the Unstoppable Champion mod with any of the available weapon types, you want to aim down sights for less than a second, and you'll then see your weapon begin to glow. You'll also see a message on the left side of the screen indicating that an unstoppable shot is ready to fire. Once this happens, you know you're ready to shoot and stun any unstoppable champions near you. Champions have a good amount of health when you go to fight them, but one thing that all champions share is that when they're stunned, they go into a brief weakened state. This is where you want to do your best damage with your heavy, special weapons, and supers to kill them as quickly as possible. Again, on lower difficulties, it's going to be easy to nuke a champion without stunning them. But on higher difficulties, getting the right timing down to stun a champion and then damaging them is going to be crucial. Part of that timing is understanding the window of time that you have to re-stun a champion. Every champion has a reddish color glow around them that when stunned, it turns white. When this glow is white, you cannot re-stun a champion. You have to wait about a second or so for this white glow to change back before you can attempt a restun. If we go back to the Unstoppable Champion, the way I engage with it is to stun it, deal damage with my heavy for about 2 or 3 seconds, then back away to give time for the stun window to open up, and then re-stun them again to finish them off with my heavy, super, or finisher, however it is that I need to get it done. So pay attention to how I engage with each of these different champions and how I time my restuns throughout this video to get a clearer picture of how it needs to be done. Moving on to the next champion type, we have the Barrier Champion. These champions will be able to damage you at range effectively, and when you deal a good amount of damage to them, they'll be able to pop a bubble that can only be broken by shooting it with an anti-barrier weapon. If a Barrier Champion pops a bubble and you don't break it, they will be able to recover their health. In Season of the Lost, our weapon options are limited to auto rifles. There are exotic options, but again, we'll list those at the end of the video. Unlike unstoppable shots, anti-barrier weapons always have their rounds ready to fire. There is no aiming down sights and waiting for a second to see them activate. You can see the anti-barrier rounds ready to go on the left side of your screen. The way we engage with anti-barrier champions is to deal damage. I say maybe put a few sniper shots, a bit of heavy damage, and then quickly swap to your anti-barrier weapon in expectation of a bubble popping, so that as soon as it is popped, you're already laying shots into it to break it even faster. After it's broken, quickly swap and do damage with your heavy, super, or special. If you know you're not going to be able to kill that champion, repeat the process of switching to your anti-barrier weapon to be ready to break that shield as quickly as possible. But remember, there is a brief window where you will not be able to restun that champion. Also keep in mind that while the auto rifle is the anti-barrier option, you don't want to be too far away from that champion, or else you won't be able to break that champion's bubble effectively because of damage drop off. I recommend in more difficult activities for at least 2 people to run anti-barrier weapons at all times, so that someone is always ready to put shots into that barrier, because otherwise you're going to be in for some long fights. I also wanted to add in here just a little bit of feedback for Bungie. I'd love to see machine guns get some love with an anti-barrier mod in the future. I think that'll go a long way in making them feel useful in a lot of these activities, along with another damage buff. But I digress from the topic. The last champion that we're going to be talking about is going to be the Overload champion. This champion has the ability to teleport around a lot and heal after a teleport if you don't stun them. If you do stun them, it's also important to deal constant damage to them and re-stun them as fast as you can, or they will heal very quickly, especially on higher difficulties. In Season of the Lost, your weapon options are going to be bows and swords. In my opinion, swords are great for killing any type of champion, but when it comes to overloads, they teleport way too much to efficiently stun them with a sword. This is why I recommend having someone on your team use a bow to stun them, and then use your heavies and supers to kill them as quickly as possible. The best weapon to kill overload champions, in my opinion, is going to be the exotic bow, Lemon Arc. It doesn't have an intrinsic perk like some of the weapons that we'll list shortly, but this weapon's perk causes lingering damage when you fire perfectly drawn arrows. So the lingering damage that you deal as you constantly shoot that target is going to be able to re-stun that champion by the time that they're ready to be re-stunned. And in all cases, wherever you have someone using Lemon Arc, you want that person to continuously shoot that overload champion until they've been killed. Even if you don't have this exotic bow, any bow that you have is going to be effective in combination with a good heavy, special, or super. The way that you want to engage with an overload champion is to stun them first, then deal your big damage with your heavies, specials, or supers. And if you can't kill them in that window, keep a good distance while you wait to re-stun them. But make sure that you keep an open line of sight, or else they will teleport away and heal. While you're waiting to re-stun, keep constant damage on them with your weapons or abilities like grenades to delay that healing process. Once ready to re-stun them and then finish them off with whatever you need to. Now, I've mentioned a few times now that there are exotic weapons and armor to stun champions, so here's a list of all of them that you can use and throw into your builds. Starting with the unstoppable weapons, we have the Bastion, the Devil's Ruin, and Leviathan's Breath. For anti-barrier, we have Ariana's Vow, the Lament, and coming in the big December anniversary update in 2021, the Arbalest is going to be getting an anti-barrier intrinsic perk. Our only overload weapon option on this list is going to be the Divinity. Now, if you don't have any of these weapons, they can be purchased from the exotic kiosk in the tower or earned from doing quests. In the case of the Divinity, this can be earned from a raid quest tied to the Garden of Salvation raid from Shadowkeep. I assume that as time goes on, most of these will be purchasable from the kiosk, and we'll have to wait and see if we get more weapon options available in future content. Switching over to the armor options, only the Hunter has an exotic piece with an anti-champion perk, and that's going to be the Arthur's Embrace, which is going to allow you to stun unstoppable champions by using your throwing knife from the bottom tree golden gun. So that's everything that you need to know about champions, how champion mods work, and how to effectively stun champions. I really hope that this video helps you out, and if you have any friends that don't understand how any of this stuff works, be sure to share this video with them. Also, check out some of the other guides that we have available on the channel similar to this one, like the one that we have covering how mods work in Destiny 2, how to use charge for light mods, and even how to do master and legendary lost sectors. I also recently created a Discord that I'm trying to build a community in, so if you ever want to ask me any questions, be sure to jump into the Discord. That link's going to be down below in the description. Lastly, as some of you know, I also stream on Twitch, so be sure to follow me there, come hang out, and as always, I thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.